Alright, so now we are doing the Godzilla Battle Line leader tier list, considerably short tier list. Taking into consideration we only have 9 leaders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this will be a quick and easy one, and let's just jump right into it with Batra. Batra is a D tier leader, in my opinion. If chat has anything to say about that, let me know. Batra is like D tier for me. There we go. As a leader, reason barely seen. Using abilities, not that worth it. My exact thoughts on that one. Batra, not very good as a leader. His ability, I like the snipe. It does like no damage, and I would rather wait for my MechaGodzilla leader to get up close and personal and use his pulse grenade rather than use an opening shot with Batra's ability. Biollante. I think Biolante's B tier. I think Biollante, what's holding her from being A tier is the fact that her ability is very situational. It's not like Space Godzilla that can provide a buff across the field, or it's not like Godzilla who can give a buff, or Kong that can give a buff, or Jaguar that can give a buff. Her buff is good on like 2 of 5 maps. She's, B for Biollante. Her ability's crazy, but low health and attack. Yeah, and her ability is super situational as well. So B for Biollante. Gigan. I want to say Gigan B tier. Part of me wants to put Gigan in A, but my gut, I think, is telling me that Gigan goes into B. Just due to the fact that, yes, he can speed up units, and getting Ultima into position, with Gigan is fine. Like, you can do that with him, and you can just speed up all the ground units, but you could also do that with Jet Jaguar, who is a 4-star, has more health. I think Gigan is B tier. If anyone has any objections, I can always go back and make an alteration, but for now, B tier. Godzilla 89, A tier. Godzilla 89 has a ton of health, and his ability, it boosts the attack, if I'm not mistaken, of your units. I'm pulling up Battleline on my phone right now, just for my own sake. I know he has a really good buff, and I'm pretty sure it's for the attack for all the units. But he's getting A tier. His ability is just way too good to pass up. And he has a lot of health, especially for a 3-star unit, and especially he's an easy one to get. You can just crank his levels high, and they'll be on par with like a 4 or 5 star, or a level 4 or 5 4-star unit. Gigan to B can't kill Godzilla with his ability. Yeah, I don't like his Blade Ripper ability for damage. I'm looking at it solely for its buffing potential. Yeah, Godzilla's Heat Ray, 2 energy, which is great. I haven't really been mentioning the energy cost, but the 2 energy cost is really great. It has a 1.5-minute cooldown, and it deals 350 damage in a fan shape, whatever, and increases damage dealt by allied units with an energy cost of 5+ in the battlefield for 50 seconds. So that is huge. For a 5 to buff 5+ energy characters, that's you're buffing Ultima, you're buffing Ghidorah, you're buffing Space Godzilla, you're not gonna buff Mothra, but you're buffing Kong. You can buff there's another 6 energy, I don't remember. But regardless, you know what I'm trying to say. You can buff a lot of high 5+s. You can buff a lot of really powerful units, and it can be a game changer. If you're late in the game, it can really be huge. So I recommend it as a leader. Can we do a friend match? Not at the moment. We're doing tier lists tonight, and after the tier lists, we can go into friendly matches. I wouldn't mind doing friendly matches with everyone. I just want to get through the tier list so we can move on to the rest of everything. Jet Jaguar. I was gonna say Jet Gigan. Don't know why. Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar. I want to say Jet Jaguar is B. However, with the state of the meta, I think he is A, because he buffs ranged attackers only. So he's going to buff Ultima. He's going to buff Godzilla 2021. He's going to buff Ghidorah, I'm pretty sure gets his buff as well. And that's huge. So I think that he's A tier for this season. I think otherwise I would put him in B. But because of the state of the game right now, where ranged is a huge part of the meta, he's definitely getting A tier for sure. You know what? I'm switching Godzilla to S tier. Agree with Jet because he buffs the 4-star. Yeah. I'm moving Godzilla to S tier because because 5 the units that are, I'm just looking at my roster, the units that are like 5 energy and up, like that is like a healthy bunch of units. Like let me like read you some of them because it doesn't specify on here ground units. It just says increased damage dealt by allied units with an energy cost of 5+. So units with 5+ energy cost is Terrestris, Ghidorah, Gigan, Space Godzilla, MechaGodzilla, the Stealth Bomber, Kong, Mothra, the Chopper, Anguirus, Rodan, Kamacuras Swarm, Destroy a Larva. And then there's the missiles and the trains, stuff like that, but I don't think they count towards it. But there's just like a ton of units. He can really, really superpower a bunch of them, so S tier. Now that I'm re-looking through, I believe S tier is probably more appropriate. Use MechaGodzilla as your leader is pretty good, so I would do it S or A. I really like MechaGodzilla as a leader. He has a lot of health. He's easy to get, like Gigan and Godzilla. But I have my own opinions on MechaGodzilla as well, because I used him as a leader for every battle I've ever done up until today, or maybe yesterday when I switched to Godzilla 89. Kong is a leader. Kong is in the same spot as Jaguar. Kong's ability is really good. Jaguar is a C leader for you. You forgot why, but that's what I think. Probably not seen it used competitively. I get that. Like I said, like his ability is very situational for Jaguar. So I haven't really seen too many, but the ones that I have been making great use of speeding up Godzilla Ultima. Kong is in the same spot as Jaguar, so for all the reasons that I just listed, that Jaguar is A tier, Kong is also A tier. His ability is very situational, but he doesn't increase to damage. I overall think Godzilla 89's damage buff is better than Kong's, but both are very good. So Kong is definitely A tier. MechaGodzilla is a B. Kong for you is A because of his axe attack, because it kills all the units around him. The axe attack is very, very strong. I do agree as well. His attack is not really slouch. A lot of the attacks on the leaders are negligible. Like they don't really matter too much. It's all about the passives. But Kong's damage is actually really strong. I'll give MechaGodzilla a B tier, only because his ability is what saves him. If his ability was like some small damage, right? He hits him with some damage from his beam, and then he buffs the facilities, he would be straight D tier. But because his pulse grenade pushes the enemies backwards, that is huge. That will buy you so much time. It's 3 energy to do it, and so it's a little bit expensive. But if you're really in a pinch, if you can spare 3 energy, you can push Ultima away. You can push Ghidorah away. You could push Godzilla 89 away. Very strong ability, and definitely is not seeing as much play as last season. However, the push can definitely be super utilized very, very well. MechaGodzilla for you is very seen used for battles. Yeah. I put it as B only because I think that the fact that he buffs factories is like the worst thing in the game. I think if they switch it to buffed any man-made unit, like if he could buff the M-Bot tank duo, or the missiles, or the train bombs, or the chopper, like the stealth bomber, like and we're supposedly getting new mechas and new weapons, so if he could buff those as well, he would be A or S. But because he only is buffing like the facilities, it's B tier because the facilities are trash. Next is Mothra. Fall from Grace. Mothra, C tier. Mothra was S tier last season. We discussed this last season on our tier list that she was S tier, but now her healing first of all, when she was first added, her healing was broken and she was making people invincible. Then she got a hotfix, which made it so her healing was calculating appropriately at 10% of a character's health. Then, with the nerfs and buffs from this season, it has now gone from 10% to 4%, which is basically nothing. And she has low health, so she dies super fast. Mothra has been gutted officially and has now been moved to C tier. Finally, Space Godzilla. Now, Space Godzilla is actually difficult for me. I think Space Godzilla, in my heart of hearts, is an S tier. However, I think I'm going to have to place him in B. Just because of the sheer fact that his crystals you can't place. You can't. C tier for Space Godzilla. I really like. I think his ability is super strong. I just think it needs some work. Like details for statistics. As a leader, his ability Proton Field 2 energy cost, 120-second cooldown, produces 6 crystals across the battlefield. All increased damage dealt by allied units near the crystals by 20%. That could be huge. That could be huge if your allies are next to him. If they're not, it's whatever, and it's just providing some easy targets for your opponent's evolution units to eat up. So that is a B tier for me, but you guys are saying C tier. We can compromise. We can compromise and say C tier. Definitely Space Godzilla, I am not seeing a lot of play, especially in the competitive levels. His ability is like all about luck on his crystals. Yeah, if you have a character relying on RNG, that's just no bueno in my book. That's just something that you can't get past. I hope in the future Toho makes Space Godzilla to place the crystals. Yeah, I wish that you could place the crystals yourself, but the fact that it's RNG, it kills it. I was going to put it in B because I really like the passive, but because of the RNG, I have to agree with Ichan and put him in C tier. So that is the leader tier list. Now, we have one more tier list to go, but if you liked what you've seen on this leader tier list, stick around because we're going to upload the next one as well, and join the Discord because all of these tier lists will be posted there. Thank you for watching this whole video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.